just tons of good work. 9 days in, and only one day we have not worked on both fields in competitive periods. That was 2 days ago. Every other day we've had at least 2 competitive fields on competitive drills going on both fields. So just the amount of reps that we're getting, quality reps, quality work, opportunities to teach and learn is just really tremendous, and I see improvement all around. It's not always visible to the naked eye, but when you go back and look at the film, you see some guys that are really making progress. Some of the young guys that are standing out to me, Sean Seawards up front is doing some really good things. Stephon Zebier, obviously you can see that he hasn't played a lot of football, but his athleticism is tremendous for that position. I think that Zach Sweeney, the position versatility he's showing inside at guard and center is pretty impressive for a freshman. Jacob Burton, he's not a freshman, but he's a redshirt freshman that moved offensive tackle. He's doing some really good things. I think that Michael Alves is doing a lot of really good things. He's been working with the ones at guard with Najee's back tightening up. It's good to see Josh Waraboko making a little bit of a move, not perfect, but really has improved. His attitude's been great, his work ethic. He's like every one of us, though we're a long ways from perfect. So there's a lot of good things happening. On defense, Martin Anderson, Greg Rogers continue to do really impressive things. I think you guys can see when you watch practice that Darnay and Jalen are special. That those 2 guys up inside are doing some really good things. Marcus Moore, who didn't play last year, he continues to show up. Although Colin Samuel wasn't out here today, he's doing some really good things. Go back to offense, I think Jimmy Jaggers and Moses Robinson-Carr are both really impressive young players. So just a lot of improvement being made. I think our offense is getting more and more comfortable with the things that we're asking them to do, with the concepts that are being taught, with the way that they're being coached, and I see a lot of progress on that side of the ball. So that's good. Defensively, that linebacking group is becoming more comfortable working together. I'm talking about the first group, and so that's encouraging. So a lot of good things are going on. A lot of things that we have to improve, and that we're working hard to improve, but overall the attitude, the effort, the work ethic is very, very good.
It seems like Darnay is not only making plays, but brings kind of a vitality to the DBs.
I don't really even pay attention to that, really. I notice him making plays. When I'm out here at practice, for me it's more big picture stuff rather than zeroing in on a particular guy. When I go back and look at the film, that's when I see the specifics, but I don't, you can't hear things, you just watching film. But if you notice it, I'm sure that it's happening. There's a lot of enthusiasm on that defense, and I'm sure he's one of the guys bringing it.
What's the status of Brandon Stevens?
Brandon and Nate Starks are both fighting through injuries, and they'll work to be out here as quickly as they can.
Your other lineman is Sonny just taking some maintenance time right now?
Yeah, it's going to be like that with Sonny. I mentioned it a couple days ago. He's 24. He's humongous. He's coming off an injury. It kills him not to be out here doing everything, but in the interest of making sure that he's sharp and ready to go on September 3rd, we have to manage his workload. It's not unlike, you have to do at the next level with guys as they get a little bit older and nicked up. You've got to manage their workload, and so we're going to do that. We're very pleased with him. He's brought a lot to this team, on the field, which you haven't gotten to see as much as we'd like because, trying to manage the injury, but just his attitude, his personality, it's infectious. The guys love him, and I think he's going to really help us this year.
What happened to Jalen Phillips in the first 15, 20 minutes?
He had to be removed from practice. It's a matter of being able to find that edge, but not going over the edge and doing something that hurts your team. And he had a reaction that would have gotten him booted from a game. And when a guy has a reaction that would get him booted from a game, it gets him booted from practice.
There was a lot of interest in what Josh said about schoolwork and football at the college level not being compatible. What were your thoughts on what he said?
This is what I know about Josh Rosen. He has the absolute respect of every player on this team. He has the absolute respect of the staff. We see on a daily basis his work ethic, his attitude, his commitment, the investment that he's made in this team. You know, everyone is entitled to their opinions. Opinions are based upon, things that we see or feel that affect us or affect others around us. I think the lesson to be learned is that if you're going to state an opinion, you have to realize that not everybody's going to agree with it. You may create perceptions that people don't agree with, and there may be consequences. And so, if you're going to make statements, you have to understand that there are going to be consequences. I'm really proud of the fact that at UCLA, we have a tremendous balance between academics and athletics. Forbes just put out a study where they rated schools in the country on academic and athletic excellence, and we were ranked number 2 in the country. I think our academic support is amazing. We spend millions of dollars to make sure that our student athletes aren't just graduating, but they're getting an education. We brought Roman Pfeiffer back into the fold as our Director of Player Development for the specific reason of making sure as soon as our student athletes come on campus, they are connecting with alumni of UCLA out in the business world with like interests of our players, so that they can start to build a network and build a support system that'll help these guys when they get done playing football, whether that's after one practice or 15 years. We want to make sure that they're always having the chance to continue to fill their emotional and motivational bucket. So I think as a school, as a department, and as a program, we are going to great lengths to make sure that our players are always on the right track to success. So that's what I think about it.
So it sounds like you think that you can do both. Do both well.
I believe that if you determine that that's what you want to do, you can. I believe that the only thing that holds us back from what we want to achieve is ourselves. And I don't believe in the victim mentality, and I don't believe in entitlement. And I'm not saying that Josh has a victim mentality or entitlement, because he absolutely doesn't. And if you guys were able to spend, if people were able to spend the time around him, that these players and this staff is, they would realize that usually when Josh makes a statement like he did, it's because he is sticking up for others that maybe have not had the opportunities in life that he has had. And you can commend him for that. You can criticize his words or the way that they were framed, but I think it's really hard to criticize the motivation, which is to help his teammates and help those around the country that maybe didn't grow up in the same circumstances as Josh did.
Last question.
Christian Papico, redshirt junior. I mean, I have to admit, I didn't notice him until spring. Talk about where he's come from and his chance of winning a scholarship this year.
Well, he's as you guys know, he's a walk-on from Long Beach Poly. He's one of those young men that came in here, and just from day one, he did everything right. He's done a tremendous job of developing his body. He studies. He works his tail off in the off season. He just does, he's just continually doing everything right. It was interesting, we bumped him up with the first unit a couple nights ago, and he came out and, he dropped 4 balls. And it was interesting to put him in that situation, have him go through that, and then just say, okay, which way is he going to go from here? And he's come out the last 2 days and had 2 tremendous practices. We, as you guys know, we will rotate our receivers through. Right now, he's playing his way into the rotation. I think it would be unfair right now to say who a starter is and who a backup is and who may play and who may not play. Those things are all being determined as we practice, but he's certainly worked himself into the discussion, and it's just a credit to him and only him and his work ethic and what he stands for, what he believes in, and you cheer for those guys. You really cheer for them.
When would you give out any scholarships that are still available?
We only have one available, and we do it before school starts, before they have to start paying tuition and room and board and books. And there's several capable guys on this team, and he's certainly one of them. So I love the fact that there'll be tough decisions to make. I wish that I had the luxury of 87 scholarships, because I think there's some guys that are working towards earning them. And as a former walk-on myself, I understand what it means when the coach rewards you with a scholarship. So I respect those guys. I respect them being out here and working the way they do. All right, thanks everybody.